Sounds good to me.
Do you want to do an intro? Do you remember how to do that while you drive?
Oh, it's a great question. Stupid good and wicked fun.
Yeah. Road Trip Edition.
All right. Welcome to Slightly Off Script, Road Trip Edition, the marriage show where we remind you that marriage can be wicked good and
Super good at working. This is what happens when you take a few weeks off, Bethany.
I sort of thought I was gonna get it, and then I botched it. It's fine. Marriage is great.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And yeah, this is our summer road trip edition. We are literally on the road right now.
So you might hear our death.
Yes, true.
This might be the last thing that we ever record.
Yeah, or you can hear Andy catching his breath or like bracing himself in case I don't brake soon enough. I'm the driver, you're the passenger.
When did it happen that you started being the dominant driver? Like, I don't feel like that's a forever thing in our marriage.
Well, I didn't have my license when we first got married, so I definitely was not the dominant driver.
That is true.
I think it's when I realized that I get wicked carsick when I ride, and I don't get carsick at all when I drive. So.
That's your kind way of saying that you don't like my driving.
I get carsick, it doesn't matter who's driving.
Okay.
So I just prefer to drive. So
Yeah, it's a control thing. I get it. I understand.
Yeah. That I honestly probably.
Probably. Yes. I feel like I have a theory that every driver, when they kind of, you're driving and you're paying attention, but you kind of space out, that you either speed up or you slow down.
Yeah.
And I tend to be a slow down. The grandpa mode goes in.
Yeah.
You tend to go NASCAR.
Yeah. I get a little bit of a lead foot.
Yes.
But I've tried to get better about it. I don't know if I have, because obviously the point is that you're spaced out, so you're not super aware, but...
For many years, I had the point of pride that I had never been pulled over.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the point of pride that you'd been pulled over many times, but you'd figured out pretty much, with only one very expensive exception, how to get out of the tickets.
I was not getting out of tickets. I was just being polite, respectful, and they were not giving me tickets.
Batting your eyes.
I was not manipulating the situation at all. They just, you know what?
Sure.
I think they felt sorry for me.
Man, well, they didn't feel sorry for me, so.
I don't know if I ever told the story on here about when Lindsay pulled that prank on me, my friend Lindsay, and stuffed feminine products throughout our vehicle. And
when you say throughout, you mean like
in
under
the glove box,
visor,
under the visor, in the doors, everywhere. Yeah, it was meant to be this joke after a girls' conference we ran. We had a bunch of extra because we were putting baskets in the restrooms. And so when they were helping me pack up our car, they thought it would be funny to take all of these, basically tampons and pads, and stick them all throughout my vehicle. Unbeknownst to them, I would get pulled over the next day, and they pressure packed the glove box, which I did not know. And you can imagine when the officer asked for my license and registration, and I went to grab my registration, and just tampons exploded through my car. And he was snickering and basically gave me back my license and said, just try and drive slower next time. He didn't even give me a ticket. I think he felt sorry for me because I was so embarrassed.
Yeah. I love that story. Honestly, you screwed up the intro, and it's been long enough since we've done this, and I don't remember if you already told that story, but it's good enough story that even if it's on here twice,
Perfect.
that's fine. So what have you been up to so far this summer?
Oh, well, working, and I am among the audience of people that live locally to us who only get weekends off and have been super bummed because all of our nice weather is happening between Monday and Friday, and every single weekend for, is it 15 now? 15 weekends straight has been rain. It is crazy. So I'm kind of over the rain. All that to say, I haven't been doing much. We haven't gotten to hike or anything like that yet. Waiting for the weather to turn. But still working, still enjoying my job. Looking forward to a family vacation coming up in a bit. So how about you?
Well, I took our kids and their significant others on a road trip. But, well, not really a road trip, on a trip.
Yeah.
So
there was airplanes involved.
There was airplanes, yeah. So I took Mercy and her boyfriend, and we flew to Atlanta. That was fun because Ryan, her boyfriend, had never been on an airplane before. And yeah, that was cool. And then we met our son, Josiah, his girlfriend, Taryn, in Atlanta. Met up with my brother, Peter, who lives in Greenville, South Carolina. They drove down with his boys, and we all went to see a Red Sox game at the Braves Park in Atlanta. And some of you may know that I've been on a quest with my son to see all the Major League parks, and this was number 17 for us. And it was kind of a really special thing to have all these young adults hanging out. They are on a very different sleep schedule than me, but I think I did okay. We had a great weekend.
I was going to say, you were pretty nervous going into it. I think just the unknown of traveling without me, with the kids, and the kids being the ages that they are. What was something that you felt like pleasantly surprised you about being with the kids at this age?
It's a good question. I think that there was very little drama. Like, no, that's not a guarantee. We're all human and we're all sinners, and I bring my own drama to the table at times. But I kind of went into this thinking like, you're taking a bunch of young adults who are coming of age in this experience that's all, people are going to like different food. They're going to want to do different things. And you're spending a significant amount of resources. And some of that, I planned ahead, like I'm a planner. So like I kind of let them set expectations, but they get along awesome. Everybody got along really well. There was different things, like we went to an amusement park the second day, and that was like for Mercy, that was her favorite thing. The ballpark for Josiah was his favorite. And yeah, it was really sweet. We had some great conversations, and everybody seemed to have a good balance of like doing things together and doing things kind of separated out. So yeah, it was awesome.
I enjoyed being home, and I would get just random FaceTimes from different ones of you at different times. So I was getting the update on the trip. I think one morning it was like Josiah FaceTimed me first. And so he's talking to me from his hotel room. And then you beeped in because you were down having coffee in your quiet time. So then you were filling me in. Then Mercy hopped in, and it was fun.
How was that for you?
Having you guys go? Yeah. I really enjoyed my weekend. I felt like it was a good balance for me of doing some fun things. Like I finished my sleeve tattoo while you were gone, so I had that session. I went to the gym, and then I actually had this event that I had planned for with my coworkers, and we went to this place called Honey Cup, which is like they do a tea time at 2:00 on Sunday afternoons, and we like went all in. So we did the little dresses and the hats and the gloves and the pearls, and it was really, really fun. So.
I feel like when I saw your pictures, I feel about that the way you feel about baseball, where you're like, oh, I'm really glad you had a great time doing that thing that I would not want to do.
Yeah, I would never have made you go to this team.
I appreciate
it.
That was great.
But we had a lot of fun. It was, a cool opportunity to hang out with my coworkers and not at work, just do something just for fun. So, yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a good time.
Yeah, and looking forward. You have a whole week in Maine coming up with this whole fam bam.
I am ready for some lake time.
Yes.
So I need some sunshine. Not really rocking any kind of tan this year so far. So
is there a food item that you're looking forward to the most on vacation?
Honestly, I don't know. More what I look forward to is sipping coffee by the lake. That's like one of those things that is a favorite for me. And then fishing. I think it'll be fun to just hang out. Even if I'm not the one fishing, I actually love hanging out and watching the kids fish. I think it's fun.
Well, you have a track record of, like, our son in particular is very into fishing. He's got a lot better now. He's more experienced, but especially when he was younger, his amount of gear for fishing versus his attention span and ability of fishing were very mismatched. And you would go out there with your Walmart pole and throw the little hook in the water and pull out a wide mouth bass.
I think that happened one time where it was bad. They could not get a bite, and then it was like the end of our time there.
You're like Jesus, like throw your nets on the other side.
On the other side, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So as we pivot from what's going on, from sort of just the update, what's God been teaching you? Like, what's been something, maybe one or two things that you feel like have been on your heart, or that God's been kind of speaking to you in this season?
Yeah, it's been a very full season with work. And one of the things recently that I think I've just been wrestling with internally a little bit is just the chaos sometimes at work. It was getting to a point where I was feeling the stress of that and wondering, like, what am I doing wrong? And God, am I just not hearing you? Am I not? Yeah, just questioning my own decisions and where I was at. And I knew I loved my job, but it just felt like day after day, it was one thing after the other was going wrong. And things that were just out of my control too, like nothing that I could necessarily, even though I couldn't control it, for whatever reason, I was feeling responsible for it. But all that to say, last weekend, I actually got a chance to go to our home church, which was really nice. And the pastor was teaching on the story of Peter walking on the water, like stepping out of the boat and walking towards Jesus. And it was a really powerful morning for me where I just really sensed God speaking to me through that story and reminding me that though I was feeling very much like Peter, like the waves around me were really big and I'm in the middle of this storm, that where I was a place that God had led me. Like I'm in this place because I was being obedient and following where God had led. But what I felt like God's invitation to me was that I needed to fix my eyes on Him again, that I needed to stop getting distracted and fearful and letting the waves stir up all this anxiety, but instead look to Him in the midst of all of this. And it was one of those Sunday mornings where there was a lot of tears, but they were really kind of almost like a shedding of this weight that I felt like I'd been carrying for a little bit. And it was incredible. It was so nice to be back in our home church for a Sunday too, not serving, just being. So
You could do that. You could just go to a church and just kidding. That's so good.
So yeah, how about you? Well done. What's God been teaching you?
I texted a couple friends this about this trip that I went on. I felt like for as a dad, like it was kind of a sweet reset for me. There's a whole new era of parenting, having two young adult kids. And I kind of recognized something that, like, there was a gift in you not being there. And that sounds a bad thing to say, but I think because you are so strong and our kids genuinely love talking to you, as proved by multiple FaceTime calls. But I can sometimes see that strength that you have, and then whether intentionally or not, like not engage as deeply, and almost use that as like a place to hide.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's overt. I think it's subtle. I mean, I talk to our kids, but to get into those deeper conversations and get into those moments that just take intention and space. And so it was a time like where I got to have some of those moments with each of our kids. And yeah, I felt like for me, it was kind of like a gift of resetting and a gift of refocusing, I guess would maybe be the way to say it. So that was huge.
It's kind of interesting because I feel like different scenario, but that's a little bit of what I'm experiencing in my job right now, in working, like building systems and doing all these things that I have always seen you as the strength, of the two of us. Like, this is your forte, not my forte, but you're obviously not at my job. I don't have you there to lean on, to rely on. And so I've had to sort of press into these areas that I didn't actually know that I could do. And it's been kind of a neat growth opportunity to be like, oh, I'm not completely inept at these things. Like I just often will default because I feel like, oh, that's something you're really good at, so I don't need to worry about it. And
I think it's a good reminder in marriage that like there's a difference between like a healthy interdependence and an unhealthy codependence.
Yeah.
And like when you get married and you're young and we've been married for 23 years this year, there's a sense where like you do kind of like, oh, you're good at that, I'm good at this, which is not all bad because like some of that you can't just waste all your energy trying to flip it.
Yeah.
However, there's a shadow side to that where it's like sometimes you default in spaces where you may be passive or don't think you have the gifting. Does that ring true for you?
Yeah. No, definitely. Because even hearing you talk about the relational side, like I look at you and think I can see those strengths in you, and even in connections with our kids that I don't necessarily feel strong in. And so it was cool for me to watch and experience, like see you just really step into that, press into that, and how cool it was for our kids and you to just have those moments together, connection and bonding. So, and I'm sure there's other areas in our marriage where that is true as well.
It's not going to stop. Yeah. No, the other kind of highlight for me was I get to run the first event in my new ministry. Like, I've done some different things, but like our first kind of like somewhat larger event. It was not a huge event, but 50 people. And it was just fun to see this journey continue and step into that. It's been really fun for me to see. And yeah, it's going to be a fun year that way. So, and even in that, like you wanted to come to it, but I think it was in some ways like a gift. Like you're going to help me with other things in ministry throughout the year. But that was one of those spaces where it's like, it wasn't a bad thing that you had other responsibilities and you needed to do that. So it's kind of a good check on the system in terms of interdependence versus codependency.
Yeah, we've had a readjustment not a bad way, but this has been a readjustment for us now that I'm working full time, you're working full time. You know, whereas before I often was in a space of flexibility where I could just join you on all the adventures and all the things. And I'm having to come to terms with like, what are the things I can do and where are the things that I need to stay home, or where, like you said, I have other responsibilities that I have to be present for. And that's not a bad thing. Like it's not a negative. It's just a shift in the way that we're doing things. So
no, Nate, I feel like I actually appreciated what you do bring to the table, even in your absence, because I was telling you afterwards that the team that I built, we had a couple of people help me out with running the event. Like they were really on it. Like they're very high hospitality, problem solvers, not people that you had to like so overly direct. You kind of just had to say like, here's what we're trying to create. Here's the schedule. You have my permission to go solve problems. And like, that's something that you've always brought to events. And it kind of helped me remember as I start to build the culture for this new organization, like what I wanted to be like for our guests that we serve, for the team that we build. It's just a really good and encouraging reminder. So I get to appreciate you even in your absence.
I like that.
That's good. And you made it through the whole weekend on the chicken that we grilled before you. I think so, right?
I did. You cooked up a bunch of food before you guys went. I was like living like a diva.
Well, you would have survived. That was a little like going above and beyond, you know.
Yes, I would have, but I'm going to be honest. Being able to go to the fridge, scoop out chicken, rice, throw it in a bowl, warm it up, and that be the extent of my meal preparation was a gift, because it's been a brutal run at work, just emotionally. It's been a little taxing recently, and that's something I didn't have to think about, which was really nice. So,
all right. So we'll end with a question. What is something that is not vacation that you're really hoping, if you had to put one or two things on a bucket list this summer, what are you hoping we are able to do?
I want to do a big hike in the mountains, like one of the 4,000 footers in New Hampshire, something with a gorgeous view. And I didn't think I'd have to put this on a bucket list, but it has yet to happen. I want a Saturday of sunshine to spend by our pool. And that has yet to happen. I feel like I got a lot of them last year, but I also wasn't working full time, so I had more days to choose from. So those are two things that are on my bucket list for this summer for sure. How about you?
I want to get a great lobster roll
Oh.
at some point this summer, preferably not on a hot dog bun, which that is one of my pet peeves. Is I love lobster rolls. I want to get one or two a summer. Like, it's kind of a summer tradition.
Yeah.
However, if I'm spending $40 on a sandwich, I don't want it on a bun that was designed for the lowest form of meat. So I want a Kaiser roll.
Yeah.
But
and those are hard to find these days.
It's hard to find. So, New England people, let's up our game.
Yeah. Step it up.
Step it up, please. Yes, I want to get a large lobster roll. I definitely agree on the hiking. And then I would add, one of the mornings, this is going to be tied to vacation, so I guess I'm breaking my own rules, but I do want to do an early morning in a kayak as the sun comes up. Yeah, with my coffee, journal.
Oh, if you added one to vacation, I get to add one to vacation.
Okay, go ahead. You get to go.
I want to go see the Maine Cabin Master.
Ooh.
Is it a store they have or
Explain
something?
what Maine Cabin Master is.
Maine Cabin Masters is a show that we really like.
It's on Discovery or Magnolia Network or something like that.
Yeah, and as someone from Maine, I just have such great appreciation for it. But it's like this family, they're not all related, but there's a few that are related, and they are fixing up cabins in Maine. And it is not a fancy $1 million fix-up kind of thing. They're literally people's, some of them are seasonal, no insulation, whatever.
Yeah, and they're scrappy, they save stuff. I mean, everything looks amazing at the end, but they're often going in the barn and finding the old sink or something like that.
Oh, but they have the greatest, as someone from Maine, they're Maine. They represent everything I think about when I think about my Papa and Nana and all the things about Maine. And so I really enjoyed that show. And then we found out that where we're going is close to their headquarters. And so
they have a shop and a restaurant and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was like, we got to go. It just would be so fun. So that is on my bucket list.
That's great.
Too.
I love that one. I will definitely join you in that. So
we can bring the dog because they always have dogs on their show.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, we're bringing our old dog with us this summer.
Yeah.
She's got a life jacket. You found a life jacket for the dog.
Yes, she hates it. She will not even walk. I strapped it on her and she whined at me all of a sudden she couldn't walk, even though it's nothing.
It's like you took grandma's keys away. It's
yeah. She might not need it. I don't know.
We'll see.
More cautious now that she's old.
That's right. And you're old. That's right. Older.
Yes. No, I'm old. It's fine. Well, first
road trip.
First road trip. I mean, we're not that exciting, but that's also, if we're talking real life, this is real life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for hanging with us, listeners. I mean, you are the brave, the few, the diehard.
Maybe the one. We don't know. We
could name the people that we know. It's been fun. Even in our recent travels, though, we keep coming across people that are like, I listened in, or
yeah.
Even at the event I was running, there was a pastor came up. He was like, I was so tempted to buy a Bethany and Needham band sweatshirt. And I'm like, everybody was so tempted, but nobody bought one.
Nobody bought one.
Everyone's tempted. But
it's fine.
It's good.
It's a humbling experience.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna try this for the summer, and again, our goal is to come back on Labor Day with regular episodes. So thanks for tuning in, and if you want to find out where we are this summer, because we're doing a bunch of churches and events, andyneedham.com. You go and there's a schedule tab there. You can find out where we're going to be.
Yeah.
So.
And July 12th, I'll tell you where I'm going to be. Powerlifting in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, I might have to do some Instagram reels for that one.
Competition's coming up, y'all.
That's
so
right.
pray for no injuries and just a good experience. That's
right.
what I'm going for.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.